You can feel it in the air. You really can. Hope. Hope is the word I feel this morning. And I have for you some shocking news that bolsters that feeling. I want to be clear. There is something fundamentally sad about seeing someone who's governed so effectively decide not to seek another term. And I didn't know. I was grappling with it. The uncertainty that would come of that. Is that the road we want to go down? The uncertainty that comes with Biden staying. Do we want to go down that road? And then the decision was made. And it's been the last 24 hours that has truly shocked me in a positive way. I haven't felt energy within our movement like this in some time. Excitement. And yes, hope. And it's not just a feeling. You also got numbers to back it up. And by the way, I have a bunch of things to show you in this segment. We'll look at some MAGA reactions that also gives me more hope because they're sort of spiraling out of control. We will talk about some different things as we go along. But first, here from Axios, Kamala Harris raises $49.6 million after Biden drops out of 2024 race. That's essentially $50 million in just a matter of hours, ladies and gentlemen. Donations are pouring in for Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential campaign after President Biden dropped out of the 2024 race on Sunday. The Harris campaign said Monday morning that everyday Americans have given $49.6 million in grassroots donations to her campaign since Biden's endorsement. Act Blue announced grassroots support has raised, as of 9 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday, $46.7 million via the Democratic donation processing site following her campaign launch, which it noted on X was the biggest fundraising day of the 2024 cycle. The campaign officially changed its Federal Election Commission committee name to Harris for President following Biden's withdrawal, and his nearly $96 million in campaign finances were being transferred to the vice president's name Sunday. One benefit, one of the many, of this quick coalescing around Kamala Harris as the presumptive nominee. She gets that war chest of money and is increasing it significantly. Now, here's what is fascinating. You have that initial reporting based on a certain time span. As it's all coming in, it's being analyzed. You have Matt McDermott saying here that if you rank Act Blue's fundraising days, it seems July 21st, yesterday, of 2024, may have been the most significant fundraising day in the history of the site. Absolutely record-shattering fundraising, writes Matt McDermott, for Kamala Harris. The most dollars ever in a single day to pass through Act Blue. So when I say that there's a vibe, anecdotally, people coming up to me, tears just gushing down their face, saying, I am more motivated now. Many people, if you have the positive perception of Biden's presidency, as I do have that feeling of sadness. I'm going to show you a video in a second that really taps into that feeling. But there is something happening. There's something happening. And we're seeing that in the numbers. And I haven't felt the unity that we feel right now. I was just telling you, it's the, what's the phrase? The darkest before the dawn. Is that even true? I don't know if that's true, but people say it, and it's playing out in this moment where it felt like such a dark moment in our movement. What I kept saying, there was this divide that was really disheartening. People turning on one another over the debate of what Biden should do. And now, wherever people landed in that debate, we're on the same side of this one. And that is that the prosecutor is going to defeat the convicted felon. The person who went after rapists is going to go after the civilly liable rapist. The chaos of yesterday is going to be defeated by the progress of tomorrow. And yes, we now are going, oh, Republicans, hey, I just realized I really want to talk about age. Y'all want to talk about age? I know y'all have been wanting to. So let's have that conversation about age. I just think we need the next generation of leadership, you know? Okay, so before going on to MAGA's reaction and some other great things, here is the Lincoln Project releasing an ad that really puts this in perspective. Biden, a fantastic president. And we've made the very fact-based non-emotional case for why that's just true, is making a good sort of a great man and great president decision right now by putting the country above himself. And that's sending us into a moment as will be laid out here.
No one wanted it this way. Joe Biden is a good man, a good American, a great president. But time and the burden of the office means it's time to step aside, to put a warrior into the political arena, ready to take on Donald Trump, to face up to the un-American plan Trump and Project 2025 will impose.
What a time we are in. You can tell I'm almost pumped by the excitement that I'm feeling. And if you appreciate me bringing all of this crazy stuff to you on a daily basis and you want to support this show in the easy, free way, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed if not already. Back to the video.
Vice President Kamala Harris is ready, experienced, and as a tough prosecutor, Kamala Harris dealt with men like Trump all the time. Rapists, con men, frauds, criminals. She's used to guys like Trump, used to putting them in their place.
Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America?
Kamala Harris will bring something to Trump he's rarely seen. Justice.
MAGA is going pee-pee in their pants. Truly, it's stunning, the reaction from MAGA. They're freaking out. And they should be freaking out, okay? Gosh. You know, some people will try to characterize, as MAGA is already doing, this decision by Biden as weakness. But it is anything but. This is a decision that resembles strength of character. Because try, something I sent out on X, try your very best. You won't be able to do it, I can tell you that for certain. But try for a moment. Close your eyes. Unless you're driving, then don't. But, you know, imagine your eyes are shut. And imagine imagining, if you could, Trump doing something like this. I know, your brain will short circuit. You can't. Because he would never put the country above himself. And I've heard people make this comparison. If you're someone who's going, oh my gosh, that's such a dramatic comparison. Don't compare Biden to Washington. Just pause your hearing for a second, because it is an interesting comparison. I will note the Washington decision, arguably more significant, but both Biden choosing not to run for re-election here and Washington choosing to voluntarily not seek more time in office were decisions in the interest of democracy. I'm sure Washington sort of liked the idea of staying in office, as Biden did. But in Biden's case, he wants to give a better shot at a victory to protect democracy. And Washington's obviously setting that crucial precedent of giving up power, peaceful transitions of power, etc. And so it's an interesting comparison, and it does bolster what I'm talking about in terms of the strength in the decision, not weakness. Even with the sadness that underlies that, for sure. Then you have Joe Walsh, a former Republican congressman, saying this.
This needs to be said, though, to what Ashley said. Joe Biden did something today that Donald Trump is humanly incapable of doing. He put his country first. I don't think, Laura, I don't think the Trump campaign is going to know how to deal with Kamala Harris. I really don't. They built the entire campaign to go after Biden. Trump struggles with women, strong women. He's going to have a hard time with Kamala Harris. And I would be very surprised if Trump got up on a debate stage with her.
Same. Trump's already, as we talked about in a different segment, laying the groundwork to bow out of the debate by saying, well, if we do another debate, it should be held on Fox News, not ABC, and ABC was the next scheduled one. Because he's scared of Kamala Harris. Don't be scared, Don. Don't be scared. You're big and strong. You can go up against Kamala. Come on, chicken. Just kidding. Hey, do you want to just very, so briefly, have your mood slightly worsened? Joe Manchin, as he does so often, meaninglessly, annoyingly, ridiculously, needs a little attention And again, he very quickly clarified he doesn't want to run for president. But he got his interview to pretend like maybe he's going to. And I want you to try to decipher in the blech that we hear come out of his mouth in the clip you're about to watch what the heck he's trying to say. Okay? He's using all these words. Just have the courage. Have the other things to say what you mean, Joe.
Senator, are you running for president?
Well, let me just put it this way. The calls and everything that's coming in is not quite sure unless they see a process where they really are. Things changed any at all. And
okay, let's let's go through this one bit at a time. The calls that are coming in, I wish I had typed this out before because now I'm already forgetting. The calls that are coming in won't be quite sure unless they see a process that they are. Okay, interesting.
Senator, are you running for president?
well, let me just put it this way. The calls and everything that's coming in is not quite sure unless they see a process where they really are. Things changed any at all. And a coordination and doesn't always basically produce, I think, the strongest, if you will, the strongest team. Very well, Kamala could be that person, and I think going through some sort of a process would have been very enlightening to everybody. So I'm pursuing the process. I really believe strongly, along with, I think that former President Obama and Speaker Nancy Pelosi both think there should be a process. They spoke out about that.
All right, so he says process about 1 billion times. Just say, I think we should have an open convention, and I want to put my name in the running to be the presidential nominee. Or, I'm not trying to be the presidential nominee, but I do think we should facilitate a selection at the convention by the delegates of say what you mean. I think there should be a process, and I think people are unsure until we see a process, and Kamala might be the process, but if we do the process within the process, then we can process what we process. You know what I'm saying? Well, he got this little news cycle, then he very quickly went, never mind. No, I'm not actually, never mind. I'm not going to try to process any processing at this moment as we observe the process. And now we get to Fox News. Mice Touch wrote, this is not going well for Fox. And what they mean is this clip where Sean Hannity responds.
Here's just one reason that voters seem to detest Kamala Harris. You decide.
Okay, so.
You are everyone here. We are special. You know,
And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?
No. I thought we were supposed to conserve things. I couldn't reconcile it. Now I can.
Yes, you're giggling, Vice President. Here's just one.
Donald Trump attempted, bear with me, just go with me on this, okay? Like I said last time, Donald Trump attempted to, for the first time in the history of this great country, block the peaceful transition of power, to keep himself in power despite the democratic selection of someone else. Something that would have destroyed the functioning of our constitutional democratic republic. He was found in a court of law to have sexually abused a woman. This comes years after he was caught on an audio recording bragging about doing such things. Trump has alienated and dehumanized one population after another, has divided the country like few others have. Wildly mismanaged a once-in-a-lifetime crisis, leading to hundreds of thousands, according to medical professionals, of deaths that didn't have to happen because of COVID. Something Biden had to then inherit and figure out how to fix, how to pick up the pieces from what Trump left him. Trump has been convicted of 34 felony counts, is attempting to argue that he should be above the law and have complete criminal immunity, something the MAGA Supreme Court has aligned with. Indicted 4 times, stole classified documents, again being prosecuted for fraudulent electors being assembled to help him stay in power despite losing, sicked a mob on the Capitol, an attempted insurrection. dozens of officials have left the administration of Trump's to say this man is unfit, is deranged, is a threat to democracy, the people who were closest to him. And on the other side, according to Fox News, they don't like Kamala's laugh. I like our chances. Here's more from Sean Hannity.
She wants to ban plastic straws. I love my plastic straw. I hate those paper straws. Anyway, she...
Yeah. This is from like one comment she made about plastic straws. Yes, ideally, we would have a better form of straw that's not so terrible, but until we get a straw that Sean Hannity's comfortable with, you don't need to worry. You also have people saying stuff like this. You think white American women are going to let the first female president be a black woman? Insanity. No. You know what's insanity? Asserting that. That's crazy. And it getting 109,000 likes. Oh, goodness. And I think this is someone who might be saying this not from their perspective, but the assumption, as I guess is the point, that other people feel. Guys, stop with that. I had a conversation with someone who was sort of saying a similar, I don't feel that way, but so many other people probably do. You don't have to assume that. Not clear polling even reflects that. And also, why don't we just compel people with a motivating message? And I think the majority of Americans don't have that sort of bigotry. I'd like to believe that. And so instead of assuming and then operating under an assumption that is vile, how about we assume the best and motivate people and create our own destiny? I know that sounds so cringy, but it's how I feel, okay? We choose our own destiny. Stop with this. But I think other people are going to... Blah, 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 blah. You're a person. We're Americans. We're going to choose ourselves, and we're going to go out there and do the work to motivate other people, explain the stakes, explain why Kamala Harris will be a much, 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 much better president than Donald Trump, and she is fully qualified, has the exact skill set that we need in this moment, and because of that, she can defeat Trump undeniably. Not she will defeat Trump undeniably. We got to do the work, but it's definitely, definitely possible. And don't let your assumptions about the unfortunate moral frameworks of other people discourage you from advocating on behalf of the correct framework. Then you have Stephen Miller losing his mind.
They held a primary. People, they had ballots. They filled out circles. They went to the voting booths. They spent money on advertisements. And as President Trump said, the Republican Party spent tens of millions of dollars running against Joe Biden. Now they just woke up one morning and said, never mind, we're canceling the entire primary. We're getting rid of our candidate, and we're pretending the election has never even happened, and we're going to let donors handpick a new nominee. They're publicly admitting that they are an oligarchy. They are not running a democracy.
They're so scared. Oh, it's so yummy. It's so yummy. Yeah, you got that yummy yum, that yum. That's how I'm feeling, okay? Justin Bieber reference there if you missed it. So here's the deal. The legal process is that delegates will get to decide if a person who's been selected by the voters, thus delegates are loyal to them, are going to select them at the convention. If that person decides, you know what, in between the run and now, I don't want to, for whatever reason, accept this nomination, they're allowed to say that, which is what Biden's doing. And then legally, the delegates are allowed to choose someone else. That's the process playing out. That's the actual underlying process that we're learning more about as we're in this pretty stunning moment. But it's desperate what we're hearing from some of these MAGA Republicans. I thought this is what you wanted. As I said in a different segment, if Trump announced he was dropping out, even if I thought that a better candidate in terms of strength of their candidacy were going to replace him, thus making it more likely Republicans would win, I'd still be happy that Trump, the super bad threat to democracy one, dropped off. So all that nonsense that you've been saying about Biden's just the worst, we had to prevent him, and now you're Now you're not excited about him dropping off the ticket? Little disingenuous there, Steve. Let me know what you're thinking of all this in the comments. What a big day. What a big week. What a big time to be alive. And I will be reading through what you have to say about it. And then also, if you want to support the work we do, you can do so by clicking the join button below. Choose your own destiny by becoming a member and clicking that join button below.